incentivizes me to play.
So you want to spend 45 minutes to get like a mythic piece, basically?
What I'm saying is that it's not necessarily catering to the top. I'm saying that it's a response to the fact that their subscriber numbers have been dropping in the past several years. In the fact that you should sure, but Blizzard as a business move, I get what you're saying, that you think it's catering to the top 1% or 0.1% or whatever, but in reality, there's just as much of a business decision to make for making it easier to gear up for everybody else, because to be honest, it actually makes more sense to do that, to cater to the casuals, or for that to be a response to the casuals, where, like I'm saying, I want to be able to get on and I want to be able to grind. Otherwise, it makes me not want to play, and if I'm not playing, then I start to lose interest, and then I don't renew my sub, and then they're not getting my money. And that is simple psychology.
There's two different sides to that, though. If they make if they do Mythic Plus to the point where like you get gear all the time, it's gonna make the game.
And I don't think they should.
Its longevity is gonna be pretty rough.
What I was saying about that wasn't me saying I want them to fix that. I'm saying that is a frustrating feeling. But I think, honestly, personally, I think it's at a pretty good point right now where I get loot enough of the time that it feels worth it to do.
Yeah,
but if they if I just got cosmetic loot from Mythic Pluses, I would never fucking do them. That's so stupid. Like that doesn't
But what if you got
incentivize me to
Mythic
do them?
Plus gear to do more Mythic Pluses?
I mean,
I don't know. No, I understand why you think that that's a solution to slow down progression, because it does make sense and it would slow down progression. But again, to me, that makes it more difficult, significantly more difficult for me to push through a raid tier.
Yeah, it slows down the top 20 and slows down significantly on the next 80%.
Exactly, and because I at this point have a full-time job, and I can't be on that much a day, and honestly, like, I'm not properly like taking care of myself because I'm really not getting enough sleep, because I'm, when I come home, I fucking play World of Warcraft until 2 in the morning and then get 4 hours of sleep, because I want to push it and because I want to keep gearing and I want to put the time in right now. That still makes it very hard for me. If they made it only possible to get raid gear from raiding, like, I would never complete a raid tier. I wouldn't have the time to grind up to the point where I could even push into raids and then just grind raids.
The thing was, though, is that they had other systems on how to get gear. Like, they had Valor points, they had Justice points. I mean, it was craftable. Like, it wasn't like it was that hard.
But you said earlier that raid tier gear should only come from raids.
But I mean,
so how does that work?
If
raid tier gear should only come from raids, but then they also have currency systems, do you get that currency only from raids? Because then that doesn't totally change my response.
That's totally different. Like,
I don't see how it is.
The way that the systems work were way different, and they were way different of item level gear.
Okay.
Like, sure, Mythic Dungeons, regular Mythic Dungeons are a great idea. Like, that's fine. Like, it's hard, make the bosses harder, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Like, that's fine. That doesn't bother me at all. Even to use that gear to go into, like, normal and stuff, even though it drops, like, 15 item levels more, sure. Like, that's fine. But those are, like, pieces that you get, you know what I mean? You're not guaranteed a piece at the end of the week. You're not spamming them, you know what I mean? You have an individual lockout. You can't just go, like, pug a key, like, hey, I'm going to do this plus 10 Toll to Gore, and then guess what? I'm going to do another plus 10 Toll to Gore.
I think where we're not seeing eye to eye, and the reason that we're just going in circles, is that you're looking at rating as sort of the main focus.
I'm pointing out better systems. Yes.
No. Stop. You're looking at rating as the main focus, whereas I'm looking at Mythic Pluses as just another way to do endgame versus just simply a way to grind gear for rating. I am like, Mythic Pluses are something else to do at top tier other than just rating. Right? It's so it's like when I get on and okay, we did our 2 or we did our 3 days of raid or whatever for the week, and we cleared the raid, whatever. Now what do I do? Do I just grind, come on and farm herbs and cloth and whatever, that's not fun to me.
See, I understand, but I don't know. It's just the way that the system works. It speeds it up so much, and it ruins progression.
And then,
And
but
it
I'm
makes
saying,
no competition.
what do you
Like
you're
people that have less time don't have the advantage that other people have. And it's going to speed up progression no matter what. Okay, you understand that?
yeah,
They have
obviously.
less time. So, and like they can only rate 6 hours a week, right? Say you have 20 hours to play, you can rate 6 hours a week. Okay, a week, 20 hours, not that much, right? To play, and I'm sure you play a little bit more since you got 220 hours. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so they have this time to play, and then they get on, and then their raid group's not on. You know what I mean? And the raid groups are like, or the people that are in their group or that know them are they going to be the ones that help them, right? And instead, these people that play 20 hours a day go in and get 385 pieces, the top tier of rating, right? Like Mythic drops what 380, 385? I'm not for sure.
Here's the point that I'm missing. Are you saying that
Okay, I'm not done. I'm not done though. That's the thing. I'm not done. Okay. And instead, they pug these 14. They get these the most painful groups I've ever been in have been in Mythic Plus this expansion. The most painful fucking groups.
Get on with your point.
Okay. Say I take that time instead of like spamming Mythic Plus, because they used to have this. This is the same system that they had in Mock, okay, that I'm explaining to you right now. I could grind these dungeons, heroic dungeons. I could do each individual one, right? And I would get these points, and I would get a guaranteed piece that week, just like Mythic Plus. You don't get a piece from Mythic Plus, whatever, dude. You can grind heroics, right? The same system. But the gear is not scaled to a fucking Mythic raid. It's scaled below a normal raid, but it's a tier to get into that normal raid. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not a Mythic geared piece, like a Mythic raid geared piece.
What I'm getting from this is that you're saying that a person who puts in 20 hours a day versus a person who puts in 2 hours a day should be should be throttled to approximately the same
Not
sheer
necessarily
throughput
the
ability.
same. Not necessarily the same,
But you're saying it should be much closer than it is.
Yes, it'd be closer, and it would slow down progression.
Why, if I play 10 times more than you, should you be able to be near me?
Because the game's based off of rating. That's what the game was made for.
No.
And now they have stuff for NDI.
No. If I play 10 times as much as you, I should be so far ahead of you, you have no chance to catch up. Because I play 10 times more than you. It's just like anything else. If I put in 10 times the work than you, I should be able to do 10 times better than you.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. And guess
so
what?
I hard disagree with you right there. And that we're not. I don't think we're going to be able to resolve that because I don't think
you guys are going to compromise on this. This isn't going to happen.
No,
I'm just saying that Mythic
keep
Plus
going,
is
keep
a
going.
fucking bad idea. Mythic Plus is a terrible idea, a terrible system.
Actually,
do
you know what I think is worse than Mythic Plus? Is the fucking Titan Forge system.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
A, because that's the randomness, and B, because that's really what's going to get you that high eye level. I mean, you have to push like upwards.
But I mean, if you look, you're guaranteed a certain item level piece.
You have to push, sure, one piece, but you have to push like in order to, from drops from Mythic Pluses, in order to put. What do you have to push in order to get? Like,
the highest you can get right now is a 370 plus right now, which is from a 10 plus.
Right. So you have to be pushing 10s, in which case you have to be well geared anyway. So it's not like you can just walk in and push 10s and just get 370s at the gate. No, like you have to work your way up. You have to push some low level Mythic Pluses in order to push your gear up and do some rating to push your gear up to be able to push higher
But
or
that's
higher
only
keys.
for like the first week, dude. Like the first week. Not even.
I didn't push a plus 10 until last week.
I mean, I did like, I don't even know what we did. We did like a plus 6 the first week or something?
I did a plus 4 was my top.
Yeah.
And that was after I did a bunch of plus 2s. And so I had
and
some
then guess
gear.
what? That next week you get a key that's one item or one like level lower. Like one key or one keystone lower. Whatever.
Yeah, okay. What's your point?
The next week, bro. It's not like you have to do it all again. Like, it'd be understandable if you started with no key and then you had to grind your way up there.
Okay,
Makes more
that
sense.
all right. That
But instead, they
makes sense
spam.
to me.
They get
But
these 9 keys, and then guess what? They push it to a 10, and guess what? They're pushing 10s over and over again. I mean, shit. People were pushing like 27s last expansion or something. Like something stupid.
that's okay, fine, whatever. You have your point of view on this. I have mine. What I'm saying is, I don't
What about doing
jive with the
dailies
fact
or
that you
something
think
for gear?
what?
What about doing dailies or something for gear? Does that not sound like a better system than Mythic Plus? After like every 2
Not
days, you
really.
get a piece of gear, a guaranteed piece of gear. That's
Not
like,
really.
I
Quite honestly, I like the Mythic Plus system. It feels good for me to push high, to work hard and push high keys.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I like the difficulty of Mythic Plus and stuff. Like, that's nice because WoW doesn't really have that unless you get into like heroic Mythic rating. Not
But
even
yeah,
really
but that's what I'm saying is I'm playing not to spam Mythic Pluses to get raid gear.
Then
I'm
what do you
playing
spam
Mythic
Pluses for?
because I like the challenge, because I like doing Mythic Pluses.
Okay, then
Because
what's
I
the
think that
difference between it dropping real gear and dropping transmog gear? What's the difference?
Because I
A
don't have
matter
the
of the
time. I don't have
reward.
the time. I barely have the time right now to gear myself stat wise, like separately for Mythic Plus and for raid. I do not have the time to build myself 2 completely different sets of gear. Like to go through all the shit about stat optimization and like get if I have to get my gear from different sources. And
Have you ever
I
seen
and
the
I
spreadsheets that people do for the pieces of gear?
that's not relevant to my point right now.
Okay, but you're talking about stats.
No, stop. Bernie, let me finish my fucking point.
Bro, if they never had
No,
those,
hey,
you
Bernie,
would
shut
know
the fuck
nothing.
up. Bernie,
You'd be
shut the
okay
fuck
with
up.
everything.
You told me to let you finish earlier, so hey, you're done
Okay.
until I finish my point.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that I play a lot. You said it yourself. I play probably more than the average player right now. I don't have the time to, like, if I want to push Mythic Pluses and I want to push rating, I don't have the time to build myself 2 completely different sets of gear. Where right now I can, even if my stat priority isn't totally optimized, I can get by and I'm doing pretty decently with with unoptimized stats just through sheer eye level. And that's
Yes.
only because I can get gear that allows me to raid from Mythic Pluses, because that's what I do for the rest of my time when I'm on. Okay? So what I'm saying is that I for my enjoyment of the game, and for I think the middle of the bell curve, the middle sort of like 50-60% of people who play the game, it is better. It is more of an incentive to keep for those people to play and to keep them playing, to have them be able to get raid gear from a Mythic Plus, because that's what they can do throughout the rest of the week while they're on. So sure, it reduces the amount that you have to grind, but at the same time, like, it actually caters more towards the middle of the pack than towards the upper tier. So sure, it slows down or it speeds up progression across the board, and it super speeds
How
up
does it?
progression for the top echelon, where because they can spam Mythic Pluses.
I just
You
got
know,
one question though with like what you just said. Before I
What?
forget the question. Okay, so how does it cater to the people that are more casual than it caters to the people that play?
Because of what I was explaining earlier, where I can get gear in order to do both from doing Mythic Pluses, and because I can do Mythic Pluses over and over again, I don't have to rebuild my key from a 2 every week. It really cuts down on the amount of time that I have to play, like the sheer amount of time that I have to put in order to get gear.
So you're saying
So
that?
no, stop, because I'm not done. What I'm saying is that exactly what I said earlier. You know, if I grind through my mythics and I grind through my raid and I have all my lockouts done, and there's no Mythic Plus, then I have no other way to get gear that week. Sure, you know, you have a conquest point system or valor points or whatever, but I can only get those from doing. So basically, what they would have to do is they would have to change the lockout system. If you wanted them to do that in order to be a way to get tier gear versus Mythic Pluses, then they would have to change the lockout system to where you could do Mythics over and over again and get the Valor or the Conquest points. Otherwise, literally all it is you go and you do your mythics for the week, you do your, you know, whatever you got. If you can do raid, you raid for the week, and that's the gear you get, and you got nothing else. And that does not incentivize me to play throughout the week, because then all the time that's spent not doing those 9
But what about the
mythics or
people that
that
log on one time a week and do a 10 key and then log off for the rest of the fucking week until raid
I
night?
don't I don't care about them.
Wow, rude. That's what I do.
Fuck you, Bubs. That's what Kel
like
that's
our
what
whole
Kel
raid
does
group.
apparently.
Yeah, that's what our whole raid group does.
What is it?
No, but
But instead, you would do this content where you could do multiple dungeons in different days. You have a reason to log on instead of doing one 10 key. Log on.
no, but I'm saying if I log on, let's say I log on Tuesday for reset, and I do 3 of my mythics. I log on Wednesday, I do 3 of my mythics, and I log on Thursday, and I do 3 of my mythics. That's my 9 mythics. If that's my lockout, then that's all the gear I can get for the week. Because what you're saying is that, you know, I have to grind my gear then in order to get up to rating. So it actually just straight locks me out from rating for the first 4 weeks. That doesn't only slow down progression. That doesn't even let
How
me
does that
attempt.
lock you out for the first?
Because if I hit, let's say I hit 120, all right,
Yeah.
and I'm grinding heroics because there's no lockout, or I'm grinding normals, and you know I get myself up to 305 or 320 or whatever the fuck it is for, I think it's 305 for heroics, yeah, and then I grind out my heroics and I get myself up to 320 or you know whatever people are willing to take me for mythics at, all right. So now I've been 120 for, let's say it took me a week to get geared. And let's say I started right at the beginning of the expansion. Let's say it takes me a week to get geared. So then I go in and I go to do my mythics. And I log in on Tuesday, I do my 3 mythic, or I do 3 of my 9. I log in Wednesday and I do the next 3, and I log in Thursday and I do the next 3. I've done my 9 mythics for the week, and I've got some gear, and I'm up to 325, 326. All right? Let's say, so that's 2 weeks in. No one's gonna fucking take me for raid. Unless I have a gear that is raiding that's willing to do that, I'm now locked out from raid until I can hit like 330, 335. Which is going to take another week or 2 based on how lucky I get with drops from Mythic and whether or not they're useful. So now it's 3-4 weeks into the expansion and I haven't even started raiding yet. So not only does it slow down progression, but it completely no one can raid for the first 4 weeks. That's what I'm saying. Just because of then the sheer amount of time it would take to get gear. Otherwise, you would have to make it so that you could get geared in 1 cycle of mythics, which defeats the whole purpose anyway. Because otherwise, all your raid gear is going to come from, you know, grinding mythics every week to get up your points, your conquest points or valor points or whatever, and then from raid. And, you know, if you go into raid and you get 2 pieces of gear, and then you get your, let's say you can get maybe 1 or 2 pieces guaranteed a week from valor conquest points, that's not a whole lot. You know, that gives you maybe 4 pieces of gear a week, and they might not even be good. You know, and that after the first week, you have the chance to get the same drops. After week 2, week 3, you have more and more of a chance to get the same drops. So all it means is that, you know, it might take me until week 11 or 12 of the expansion to finally replace my fucking trinket. That's been 305 since I hit 120.
But what if it was
do you see what I'm saying?
What about a cache or something from like Warfronts?
What I'm saying is that you have to have some alternate means of getting gear, right? And all you do by eliminating gear from Mythic Plus is you hard throttle your ability to get gear, because you can, like, sure, maybe you get a cache from Warfront. Still, if it lines up with what I've said, that's 5-6 pieces of gear a week, and then if you want the cache from Warfront, if you want the cache from Warfront to be useful, then, you know, other than just being entry tier raid gear, it would have to go higher. Otherwise, you know, then you're raiding normal over and over and over again, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 or 15 versus, depending on whether you use a 1-hand or a 2-hand or 1-hand weapons. So that's 14 pieces of gear. So if you get, let's say you get lucky and you get 3 drops of raid tier gear from raid per week, and they never overlap, that's going to take you at least 5 weeks to replace all your pieces. So that's not counting any time that you get the same drop, not counting any time you get a drop that's not good for you, not counting any time that that you just like you get super unlucky and you get 1 piece a week, or you get super lucky and you get 5 pieces a week. That's just straight saying it's gonna take 5 weeks to upgrade all your gear, to at least upgrade every single piece. And then that's not counting stat optimization or anything like that. That's gonna take months.
That's not the
That's
only
gonna take.
way though to get the gear. That's like
But
that was just like one example of how to get
I get it, and I'm saying that's just from gear. But every other solution that you've brought me up to has been okay. You know, Valor Conquest points, sure. Maybe that guarantees you 1 piece a week.
Yeah. I mean,
Warfront. Warfront. If that's a 340, that guarantees you 1 piece of gear that's not going to be useful to you because it's not raid tier. Dailies don't drop raid tier gear. If they did, you know, if every once in a while you got a piece of gear that was raid tier, sure, fine, whatever. Still, you are hard throttling your ability to get gear. And again, anytime that I don't have something up that drops gear for me, I don't have any reason to play. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then I'm not playing, and I come home and I'm like, wow, you know, I log into WoW and I'm like, there's no way for me to get gear right now. I log out.
So you're saying that Mythic Plus is the only way that you can get gear right now?
No, I'm just saying that Mythic Plus gives me a way to keep working towards gearing when all my other options are exhausted.
Well, I mean, like that's another thing.
I've done World Boss. I've done, you know, okay, I can go do normal raid, whatever. I've done most of heroic raid. I do a lot of that. Great. Now I have other time that I want to spend, and I would like to play this game, and I can go do Mythic Pluses and still keep working on my character. That feels good to me. That makes me want to play the game and continue my sub.
So you want to do Mythic Plus, like you
yes.
look forward to do Mythic Plus.
Yeah, I love Mythic Pluses, dude.
So you'd rather spam like.
I don't understand. I don't spam Mythic Plus. I rarely do more than 2 or 3 Mythic Pluses in a day. I did 1 today and it was a +2 because we raided. I'm gonna do my +9 at some point this week. The other ones that I do are like, hey, can someone heal this Mythic Plus? Sure, like I'll go. You know, hey, who wants to push a +9, a +10? Yeah, I'd love to. And if Hawk and I are both on and you guys pick me to go do it, then great, awesome. But I'm not sitting here like sitting in queue going, oh, I'm gonna spam Mythic Pluses with pugs, like because I want gear. No, I want to do Mythic Pluses because it gives me something to do with my friends in the guild. I get to enjoy what I'm doing. I get to enjoy playing the game, and I get to get gear.
I'm not saying
And I get to get gear that allows me to A, have fun at the game, and B, keep working on our guild's progression.
Right, but I'm just saying that there's I personally think are better.
I get your point.
But this isn't even a debate anymore. This is a fighting personal opinions.
It is.
Like this, you're gonna get nowhere with this. I don't know why you guys keep going back and forth.
I've just been listening, bro.
It's like it's pure personal opinion at this point. It's not even a matter of a debate.
Why we've been going back and forth is because we haven't been understanding each other's opinions, I think.
You haven't. The thing I said from the beginning was it would slow down progression if Mythic Plus wasn't there, and there were and still are other ways to get gear.
You're not wrong. It would hard slow down, and I'm saying, yes, I agree. It would slow down progression a lot. I don't understand why it's such a bad thing that Method can down the raid in 2 weeks. Sure. You know, oh great, they got world first super fast. I don't give a fuck about Method right now. Okay? Like I don't care that they can.
Mythic caters to them more than it caters to the casual.
Great, and I
don't have fun with your argument.
But I don't care about that.
I mean, I'd rather have a chance playing than like playing a game. Like imagine you play Counter-Strike and you
wait, Bernie. But now you're contradicting yourself. Because you want to be able to push into Mythic, but you also want progression to be slower. How does having progression how does being able to gear slower make it better for you? Because that actually gives you less of a chance to do Mythic. Because now it's going to be the next tier drop before you down Heroic. Like right now, we have a chance to finish Heroic and keep practicing Heroic, and that gives us a chance to maybe even look to do a little bit of Mythic pushing if we really want to before the next raid drops.
Yeah, I think that we're progressing plenty fine. Like, there's nothing
Right.
wrong with the way that we're progressing.
So how does it matter? Why does it matter to you then that Mythic downs, or that Method downs Mythic in 2 weeks? How does that change your experience with the game?
Because I'd rather have like more competition. Like, I understand that like there is other competition, but I don't want to see a boss that just
I
came
don't
out
I
on the
don't
first
agree.
expansion.
I don't agree with your argument. I think your argument is wrong. That that you
How does it
are
not speed up raid? How does it
you
not
are
speed up raid?
no. That's not what I was talking about. If you'd let me finish my point, you would understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm trying to say is it still doesn't make sense to me that you think you should be able to compete with somebody who puts in significantly more hours than you do.
Yes, I can play Counter-Strike for 20 hours a week, and I'm probably better than half the Counter-Strike population. I could quit playing
Great.
for 6 months, and I'm still better.
Great. But if I put in 2 hours a day, I should not, or if I put in 20 hours a week, I should not expect to
Don't
be
get me wrong, I'm
able
not
to be
saying that they
competitive with
shouldn't get
Method.
world first. I'm not saying that they shouldn't.
You're acting like they're the only guild up there.
I'm not.
They're-
I'm using them as a scapegoat, right? Like they're
Okay.
the first, world first.
Yeah, and there are quite a few guilds that are competitive up at that top range.
Right.
We are not going to be one of them. You are not going to be in one of them.
I'm not saying that I don't want to. I just rather not see it go down so fast. 24 hours, 2 weeks, like.
But then you're also arguing the point that you want to have a chance to push Mythic.
Yeah, and another thing too, whenever
So if the boss doesn't go down fast, if the boss isn't easy enough for guilds that play 20 hours a day to down in 2 weeks, you are never going to be able to do it. That's what I'm saying. If progression slows down, you get even less of a chance to push into Mythic.
Right, that's like bugs.
So you want to make it? You have to make a choice. Do you want to see the boss last longer, or do you want to have a realistic chance of pushing into Mythic?
I mean, to be honest, with the
You
full-time
don't
job,
get to have both.
I probably would have a realistic chance to push into Mythic with the way it used to be. But instead, I have to watch a group.
All right, dude,
like,
keep dreaming. I don't think that's correct.
Yeah, I mean,
I really don't
think
think you would be able
Dude,
to.
I did carries in MOP, like PvP carries. I had a full-time job. I worked the same job that I had like the last time that I fucking worked. I did PvP carries, which would take like 60 games, and you could usually do them in like a night or so. But that would take like your whole night, and I still downed Mythic bosses. Like, not towards the end of the expansion. We got stuck for sure, which is fine. That's not.
Yeah,
what I'm saying. That's not what's wrong. Like, there's groups that are going to be stuck. I'm saying that that's fine. Like, that's a thing. We're stuck, right? Like, we're obviously not on Mythic progression. Being stuck is fine. Mechanics are fine. But the way that the old loot system worked was it felt a lot better. It slowed down progression, and it still was a viable option. Because I would literally spend fucking. Dude, I couldn't even tell you how like the amount of hours that I spend like then. Just playing WoW, and I had way more fun than doing one Mythic a week and then hopping.
All right, so your argument is that it was better in Pandaria.
Yes, and
let's go through the top tier progression for Pandaria. Mogishan Vaults downed in 4 days. Heart of Fear downed in 6 days.
Mythic. Siege of Orgrimmar is the first like Mythic raid.
Okay, fine. Let's go to Siege of Orgrimmar. 15 days. Progression lasted 15 days for Siege of Orgrimmar.
I'm pretty sure it was longer than that.
The first
who
kill.
downed it?
Method.
Hmm.
11 bosses died in the first 2 days. Final
Yeah,
boss
like
lived
13
15.
bosses.
Garrosh lived 15 days after the release of. Okay, no, sorry. That is still after they got to him. But that's still.
It's like almost a month, right? It was like 26 days or something.
And Mythic Plus is
Yeah,
weren't out then either. And
nine
it was a way
917.
better way to gear.
It lasted. Wait, 917 to 10-1. That's 2 weeks.
Wait, then how's that make hold on? How's that make
That's
sense?
3
If it took
weeks.
if it took 15 days
No.
for Garrosh to die,
1,
how did it
2,
only
3,
take 2
4,
weeks
5,
for the whole
6,
thing?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. After Mythic Siege of Orgrimmar, or what? Wait,
Yeah, it says he lived 15 days.
but it also says heroic.
Okay, where's Mythic then?
Maybe the thing's just bugged because it's so old. I don't know.
So continue with the argument and the debate you guys are having.
So, but my
Wait, that's a
point is,
different-
Oh my god.
what are you talking about, Bernie?
Blood Legion killed the first boss on US, and then
Yeah, Blood Legion killed the first 10 bosses, and then Method had the other 4.
okay, where's like Garrosh and Mythic? Because I'm pretty sure Garrosh and Mythic live longer. $25 heroic. 25 heroic.
I think Mythic's gonna be strange on Siege of Orgrimmar because it came out like
It
halfway
came
through the
out
tier.
halfway, yeah.
It wasn't like already pre-planned. Mythic wasn't even a thing yet.
No, it wasn't. They didn't even release Mythic Dungeons either.
I mean, if you really want to, you can go back and look at WAD, because that didn't have Mythic Plus either.
Well, yeah, but that was like, I didn't even play WoD, so I don't really know what WoD had to offer and ways to get gear.
I had no
Highmaul
idea
lived-
either, but that was like the closest thing I could say.
Highmaul was 5 days. Blackrock was 11 days. Hellfire Citadel was 16 days. Progression has been short since Kata.
Yeah, it's
Ulduar-
probably
okay.
just nerds were like sitting there
Ulduar was 85 days.
See,
Lich King
I think that's dope.
Lich King was 46 days. Blackwing Descent, first raid in Kata was 27 days. Bastion of Twilight was 38 days. Throne was 42 days.
So what about Odir?
And Ragnaros in
Odir was
Firelands
in 2
was
weeks.
15 days.
Odir was 2
and-
weeks.
And Mandus of Deathwing and Dragon Soul was 15 days. So Firelands is when progression started to speed up, which was halfway through Kata, and
When
it's
did
been
the
short.
expansion come out?
End of August.
No. This X-Pack? No. August
Isn't it?
13th or the 14th.
Mid-August, whatever. Wait. Okay, Uldir took 8 days. So not even 2 weeks, but I'm telling you, progression has been fast since the end of Kata.
Yeah.
There hasn't been, since the end of Kata, I don't think there's been a raid that's been longer than 2 weeks. And that's well before the release of Mythic Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whenever Mythic Plus came out, is
But I'm saying you're holding up Mists as sort of the gold standard.
This is my scapegoat because that was where I started Mythic, and it was
And
way
yet-
manageable, working a full-time job and doing PvP carries.
And yet, the top raid tier was down in 15 days.
Yeah, but my argument is Mythic Plus, because I mean, it's like,
I get what you're saying,
realism.
but what I'm saying is if you're saying that was the gold
You
standard,
started with heroic gear to kill Mythic Garrosh, though. Like you're like full heroic to kill Garrosh. So imagine that on a way lower tier. Like you didn't have the Mythic or the heroic gear to go straight into Mythic.
what? Say that again.
Okay, whenever Mythic came out, you were full heroic gear basically.
So you're saying they should just release Mythic later? Give you the chance to get full heroic gear.
No, not at all.
I don't understand your point.
Like
I still don't get it.
okay, Mythic came out halfway through, like Siege of Orgrimmar and the end of the expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Were you gonna continue with that or what? Barney? Did you die?
Rip.
Oh, this
Where'd
just
he
got
go?
awkward.
So are we done? I'm lost.
Maybe his internet went out.
I kind
Is-
of hope it's over, personally. I have no problem with debates, but it's when it's battling personal opinions, it's not enjoyable to me.
I just
anymore.
wasn't understanding the point he was trying to make.
All right, folks. So, comment down below what you guys thought about this argument, debate, and everything. Thanks for watching.
All right, wait. Someone who
Adios.
clues are falling.